là hết quà nha, thì nó sẽ được nhanh thêm. Thì nó tô tròn nó sẽ nhảy lên một trừ cuối là 279 và nó sẽ nhảy lên là giá là
Inside a dark room, musty steam rose from the old walls. James was tied to a wooden chair, two hands cuffed behind. His forehead was bleeding from the hard blow he received when he was arrested. In front of him, John sat cross-legged, leisurely lighting a cigarette. Smile evilly. How did you not think you would have this day? John tilted his head, the smoke curling around his face. You ruined everything for me. Now it's my turn to make you taste despair. James smirked despite the pain, but his eyes were still arrogant. If you need money, just say so. I don't think someone like you needs to do this dirty trick. John smiled faintly. Money is just an excuse. I want you to see what loss is like. What is impotence? I want to see. Will Tu Diep dare to risk her life for you? James clenched his fists and his eyes darkened to deep. John is using you to test her. If you come, you will be in danger. If she doesn't come, she will live in torment forever. The worm leaned close to James' ear and whispered, let's wait and see. Will she choose you or choose your own safe path? At Mr. Hung's house, Tu Diep and Father James have prepared a plan. They agreed to pay ransom, but will install a tracking device on the Via Lytieuca to track down the kidnappers. At exactly 9 p.m. Tu Diep's phone vibrated. A cold voice rang out. I went to the old warehouse in the suburbs alone. Do not call the police. Tung held her hand with worried eyes. Tu Diep, you shouldn't go alone, let me go instead. She shook her head. They want me. If you go, they will be suspicious. Mr. Hung put his hand on her shoulder, his voice calm but full of authority. Be careful. We will follow closely behind. No one should let James be in danger. Tu Diep nodded, took a deep breath and grabbed the Via bag of money and walked out to the car. She knew she was running into danger, but there is no other choice. Inside the old warehouse, James was tied to a post. When the iron door opened, he saw Tu Diep walk in, hugging Via tightly. She lost weight and her eyes were full of worrying. Tu Diep, you shouldn't have come here. James screamed, but she was already standing in front of him, facing him. John smiled and clapped slowly, so touching. Poor girl comes to save rich CEO. It's a fairy tale. Tu Diep gritted her teeth, her voice trembling but full of determination. Let him go. I brought the money as you requested. John curled his lips and gestured for his juniors to check the Via Ly. One of them opened the stack of money and nodded at him. "Very good," John said, approaching her, but there was one small problem. "Who guarantees that after releasing James, you will not come back to destroy me?" Tu Diep held his breath. As she feared, Dung had no intention of keeping his promise. Suddenly a noise came from behind. Warehouse lights off. A series of hurried footsteps echoed. Dung cursed and pulled out his gun. "You bastards set a trap for me." Right then, Dung and Gomez's father's bodyguards rushed in and fired shots into the air. "Put the gun down," Dung shouted loudly. John's men panicked. Some ran away, some raised their hands and surrendered. John gritted his teeth and looked around, then quickly grabbed the Diep. "Put a gun to her head. Back off or I shoot." James's heart stopped beating. "John, whatever you want. Just aim at me. Don't touch her." John laughed madly. "Do you think I'm stupid? I will let her watch you die in front of her." But as soon as he let his guard down, Tu Diep quickly stomped on the foot. He jerked his head back. John painfully let go of his hand for a brief second. James immediately rushed up regardless. The tied hands pushed John away. A gunshot rang out. John staggered and fell to the ground. Blood splattered from his shoulder. One of James' father's bodyguards shot him before he could do anything to Tu Diep. John looked down with hatred in his eyes as he looked at James. "You win." James said nothing, just squeezed Tu Diep's hand. She was shaking but still tried to smile at him. After John was arrested, James was taken to the mansion to have his wounds treated. When he woke up, Tu Diep was sitting there holding his hand tightly. "Are you okay?" James's voice was hoarse with fatigue. She nodded, tears rolling down. "I was so scared, but I couldn't leave you." James looked at her deeply. "Are you going to leave me?" Tu Diep was startled. "I know. But now, after all, she doesn't want to run away anymore." She squeezed his hand. "I will stay no matter what storms lie ahead. I will be by your side." James smiled and took her little hand. "I will protect you for the rest of my life." Outside the window, dawn is gradually breaking. A new beginning is coming. And this time they will face it all together. After John was arrested, everything seemed to be over. But James knew that the power behind John was still there. His kidnapping was not a single plan, but part of a larger plot to take him down. James is sitting in his office, eyes thoughtfully looking at the documents on the table. The wound on his forehead still ached, but he didn't care. Tu Diep walked in carrying a cup of hot tea. "You should rest, don't try to work too hard." James smiled softly and pulled her to sit next to him. "I cannot rest when there are so many dangers lurking." She held his hand tightly. She didn't want to lose him again. He looked into her eyes with determination. I promise. This time we'll not let anyone hurt us. But just then James's phone rang. A message from an unknown number. John is just a pawn. The person who really wants to kill you is still out there. James clenched his phone, feeling the storm was not over yet. James's father received a phone call from an old friend. His face hardened when he heard the news from the other end of the line. When he hung up, he turned to tongue and lowered his voice. Someone is behind the kidnapping of James. And I think I know who he is. Who is Tom frowning? Father James sighed. Someone I was indebted to. He was ruined by my family. And now, he is back for revenge. In a luxury building, a man in a black suit, standing in front of a glass door overlooking the city. An assistant came in and bowed his head, saying to him that the plan had failed. John was arrested. The man turned back with a cold look. It's okay, the game isn't over yet. He held a glass of wine and smiled. James, the game is really just beginning. The next morning, James received a mysterious letter delivered to his home. No sender name. Just a small piece of paper with the words, "Want to know who is behind it all? Tonight, at 8 o'clock, I go alone to warehouse No. 17 of the Old Port. If you dare bring anyone else, prepare to receive the body of your loved one." James clutched the paper. A feeling of unease arose in my heart. Tu Diep saw his face change. She walked over and asked wordily what happened. James hid the letter behind his back and tried to smile, to reassure her. Nothing. Don't worry. But Tu Diep is not easily fooled. She stepped forward quickly and snatched the paper from his hand. When she finished reading, her face turned pale. "Are you really going?" she asked in a trembling voice. James nodded. He had to know who the real mastermind was. She took his hand, her eyes filled with worrying. "No, it's a trap. They want you to go alone to lead you." James gently stroked her hair, his eyes determined. "I can't hide forever. If this doesn't end, you and I will never have peace." Tu Diep bit her lip, trying to hold back her tears. She knew that once he made up his mind, no one could stop him. But she couldn't let him go alone. When James turned away, she quietly texted Tongue. 8 p.m. James drove to the Old Port. The whole area was plunged into darkness. Only the street lights flickered. Old containers. He entered warehouse number 17. Inside, dark. There were only a few weak rays of light from the cracks in the roof. A voice came from the darkness. "James, you finally came." James squinted, trying to make out who was standing in front of him. When the light hit his face, James was stunned. "It's you." The man smiled faintly. "What a surprise. I have been waiting for this day for so long." He is kindCEO of Minho Group. Someone who used to confront James in business. And also has feelings for Tu Diep. Men walk towards with cold eyes. You think I will leave you alone when you have everything? Money, power, and the girl I love. James clenched his fists. So, all this was arranged by you. Men curled his lips not completely. I just give a hand to make things go right. Just as James was about to speak, there was a loud noise from behind. One of his juniors rushed forward and hit him hard on the back of the neck. He fell to the ground stunned. Min bent down and whispered, "Don't worry, I won't kill you. I want you to see tomorrow with your own eyes. When Tu Diep comes to find you, she will see your dead body lying here." James gritted his teeth, but his mind gradually darkened.